QL crew, does it surprise you that 31% of adults and 80% of adolescents do not meet the minimum recommended levels of physical activity according to the World Health Organization? It shouldn't. Many of us have sedentary jobs, sedentary hobbies, and sedentary social activities. The percentages are actually higher among women and people over 60. The inactivity among adolescents tells me that we've got to get our kids moving along with us. And when I say our kids, this includes all of the kids in our lives. I don't assume that everyone is a parent, though many of us have adolescents and littles in our circles. Why is getting active so important? Well, we know that being active burns more calories, and we'll talk about calories in the coming weeks. But for now, let's just think of them as a measure of the energy that we get from food and drink. According to the CDC, NIH, and American Diabetes Association, physical activity can result in stronger bones and muscles, reducing risk of osteoporosis, which is weak bones, and sarcopenia, which is muscle loss. This helps us stay mobile and lowers the risk of falls. Physical activity can also result in lower risk of major illnesses. Regular activity helps protect against heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, and many cancers. Physical activity can lower our healthcare costs by staying active. It can reduce those expensive medical care and prescription bills. Physical activity also improves mood and mental health. Activity lifts our mood by releasing endorphins, reduces stress, and eases anxiety and depression, and improves our sleep. It also gives us sharper thinking and memory. Aerobic exercises like walking or biking can enlarge the hippocampus, the part of the brain that supports learning and memory. Even mild memory challenges can improve with regular exercise. Right? Physical activity helps our body use blood sugar more effectively, more efficiently, lowering our risk of developing type 2 diabetes. But the benefits of lowering blood sugar don't stop there. Keeping our blood glucose level low or in check can lower our risk of heart attack and stroke, protect our kidney function and reduce the risk of kidney disease, reduce the progression of vision loss and lower the risk of blindness by protecting the retina's blood vessels, and can prevent or slow the progression of or reduce the severity of nerve damage. Movement is one of the most effective tools for quality longevity. I imagine many of you have had the same sort of conversation with your doctors that I've had. You need to move more. I know, but it's hard to find time. Truth is, we all have the same 24 hours in a day, and we all have varying responsibilities in individual situations, which is why later in this unit, we'll look at how we can fit activity in when we truly don't have time for exercise. Before we get there, I'd like to share a story about the moment that I began to prioritize physical activity. Several years ago at a family reunion, I realized that I had become so inactive after a long recovery from foot surgery that I couldn't join even basic activities. My parents were more active than I was. However, this wasn't the surgery's fault. It had been more than 3 years and I had been medically cleared. With long hours and constant work travel and a busy family schedule, I failed to fit activity in. I came home from that reunion feeling disappointed and determined to get fit. And for 2 years, I started and stopped over again. Even when travel and commutes disappeared during COVID, I couldn't find a sustainable rhythm. So that's when I reached out to a therapist who helped me uncover my true motivation. He used similar techniques to the whys and say mores that I mentioned in our last unit. Working in this question response way with the therapist, he got me to realize that I want to engage and be active with my grands who aren't even here yet. And whether I have grandkids or grandnieces and nephews, I want to be like my mom. She's always right in the thick of it. And I suspect she'll be down on the floor playing with her great grands whenever they come along. I don't want to be sitting in a chair observing like I had been during that reunion. Then the therapist and I worked together to figure out where my time was spent. No surprise, it was on my job, my family, my volunteer commitments, my friends. He asked me whether I was worth just 10 minutes. I started to cry. With his help, I started where I was, just like we're doing together in QL Crew. It was hard at first, but over time, I saw how just 10 minutes could lead to more. And now, whenever I feel like skipping a workout, I think back to that moment, remembering that I am worth 10 minutes. And if I doubt that, I know that my colleagues, friends, and certainly my family would agree that I'm worth 10 minutes. So I get up and move. I encourage you to identify your own motivation. If you have a therapist that you want to work with, great. Or you can do this on your own. You might journal, call a friend to talk about it, go for a walk and ponder it, sit and enjoy a sunrise or a sunset, and converse with yourself. Why does quality longevity intrigue you? What's important to you about quality longevity? Throughout these units, I'll share some of the truths that our original QL crew came to realize as they did this discovery. I will tell you, though, that when we started, we didn't call ourselves the QL crew, we called ourselves lifestylers. But as we each tapped into what was truly at the core of our motivation, quality longevity rose to the top. So here we are, the QL crew, and we're happy that you're here with us. Facts and figures like those I shared about the benefits of movements matter, but they don't usually keep us moving. Our motivation comes from something deeper, a personal connection that matters enough to act on, even on our most difficult days. What's yours? In the next lesson, we'll explore some fun ways to act on it.